Here is exactly how to print fuck you money with Instagram. I'm going to break this up into 4 different phases. A lot of founders don't do this properly, and so I'm just going to show you exactly what we do when we execute with clients we work with. Client number 1, clearance deals. We added around 120,000 followers, plus we averaged around 40 million impressions every 30 days. And you can even see some of my face on some of these content pieces. I was part of the content strategy, email marketing, etc. And then additionally, Adrian here, I also work with this guy managing his newsletter and strategy behind it. So same principles apply as to everything I'm about to discuss in this. So let's just jump into phase 1, which is the research phase. Arguably, if not, it is the most important phase when working with a creator, a founder with any business. You need to understand who is in their audience. Demographic, psychographics. These are 2 major points to understand about a creator's audience. If you understand the race, ethnicity, the age, the gender, these people are in the audience, you can then tailor specific offers. You know how to price your products, etc. You can't sell a $5,000 course to kids that are 12, 15 years old. That just doesn't work. They don't have the money. So this, and we have documents explaining this in depth of, and questions to answer in order to find the demographic and the psychographic. The psychographic, however, is really identifying what are their thoughts, what are they saying on a regular basis, what are they thinking, what are they consuming online. The more you can be in the psychographic, and I think someone who does this exceptionally well is Mino Lee. He speaks to Gen Z. He talks a lot about brain rot. He talks a lot about scrolling Instagram, about all these dopamine things, all these, keywords that Gen Z talks about often. He stays in tune with the current trends, and that results in a huge following. He's got over 500,000 followers because he understands the demographic and psychographic of his audience. He knows exactly who he's trying to attract, which is those beginners in that age 15 to 20 years old range. Next up is dreams, hopes, and desires. You need to identify what is it that they want truly in their deepest of hearts. What is it that they want? Next, pain points and fears. What has caused them or prevented them from booking a call with you? Why did they book a call with you instead of someone else? These are questions you need to be asking once you book a call or checking in the comments, looking at Reddit, etc. Buying behaviors, objections. This is pretty basic. Typically, surveying, one-on-one calls. This is the best way to bring out buyer behavior and objections. Also looking at other creators in other markets. Media consumption and trust. This is super important. You need to identify, again, similar to psychographics, where is it that your audience is consuming content? This is huge right now. This talking head style video with Apple headphones, these videos are crushing. Creators are getting 10, 20, 30,000 views without a single edit. There's no production behind this, and if you are a creator and you're marketing towards the Gen Z, you need to be following a similar format that these following people are doing as well. So once those are all dialed in, then you can create your offer. Then you can really begin to build out brand pillars. You can start to really develop your voice with the content itself. And this is the start of really where you're going to be collecting cash as a founder. However, Eugene Schwartz, a well-known copywriter, just to touch on this, has stated that there are 5 levels of awareness. And the reason I'm saying this is if you don't understand this, collecting cash on Instagram will be very, very, very difficult. When you post an Instagram reel, on average, 90% of the traffic is completely unaware to seeing you. This is their first time coming across your page. So they are completely unaware, which means it is your job to identify and really provide content on your page that moves them up the ladder bit by bit. However, there is a new stage, and that stage is brand, tribe, mission, and belonging. People want to pursue a journey with the creator together. They don't want to do it alone. This, to me, is where Schwartz is missed. He hasn't seen this new world. I think he needs to add another layer, because what I've seen with the following creators, specifically these 2 case studies, and studying other founders and creators, people do not want to doom scroll content. They want to consume content, yes, but they want to do it together. Take Jack, for example. This is Jack, one guy. He's consuming your content. He's unaware. It is his first time coming across your page, but maybe after a few months, he starts kind of following you, liking some of your videos, etc. The next thing that Jack wants, and this is universally true, you want a tribe of people. You want 5, 6 other Jacks doing the same thing, that look the same, that are the same age as you, etc. This is where it really gets dangerous, and this is why communities like WAP and like school are performing so damn well, is because you have people that are like-minded. The typical education path isn't working. It's too copy and paste. It's too solo. It's one teacher teaching 25 students. People want to learn with one another. This is how societies have always been and been built. Tribes, groups. And this is, again, why my school community is doing so well, right? I started as a beginner. I had 1.1K members join that school community without even wanting anything from me, just to join and document their process as well. So that leads us to phase 2. In phase 1, we talked about the research. In phase 2, this is where you are going to begin the preparation to print real revenue for your Instagram page. So before we do any sort of launch, you need to do the following. You need to set up surveys. Survey your audience every 5 to 7 days. The significance of this is, 1, people that do engage with the story, you can then add them to a private story and really market to them, outreach to them. These are your hot buyers. Additionally, you're getting data and information. You're beginning to understand where they're at on their journey. Next up is lead magnets. Once you start posting content, people will leave comments on videos. It's your job to study this religiously. This is where the money is made. In lead magnets, if you just study what people are complaining about, again, in the comments on Reddit, create a lead magnet to help them with that solution and slowly start bridging them closer and closer to where you actually sell a product. It should always be free, these lead magnets. If you do it well, the conversion rate should be around 40%. Industry standard, that's what you should be shooting for. Anything less, you have a big problem and probably didn't solve their problem well enough. Next up is quiz funnels. This is a absolute sleeper. Typically when founders have newsletters, on the onboarding, when someone provides you their email, you need to identify, hey man, where are you at? So quiz funnels does an amazing thing. It does 3 things. It identifies and asks them, hey, where are you currently at and where do you want to go? Based on their responses, it's going to send them down path 1, path 2, or path 3. For example, here, this is path 1, operations chaos, meaning this person has operations chaos. You need a couple systems, a couple recommendations. Based on this, we now have solutions and answers to their questions that we can bring up on the call. So quiz funnels, again, is all about segmenting people into specific buckets. Are they in bucket 1? Are they in bucket 2? Or are they in bucket 3? The better you can do this and understand your audience, the easier sales calls are, the easier you can send custom emails, right? I mean, think about a custom email to this bucket 1 list. You can send custom offers at whenever you please. Conversion rates will be higher. And you do this for all 3 different offers that your audience faces and problems your audience faces. It is a very lucrative way to make more sales as a founder. Now, next up is IG Stories. IG Stories is very misunderstood. The benefit of posting IG Stories, you need to think about IG Stories like this. This is cash collection. People make money and actually convert traffic when they are posting stories. You do all this work to post content, to post reels. It is in the Instagram stories that you are doing the selling. Okay? There are 3 types of stories. 1 is entertainment. 2, they want to connect. And 3 is inspiration. Okay? Typically, right? People want to laugh. I recommend starting your stories with entertainment. I have seen creators and founders average 10,000 views per story, just on average. But once they start with humor or entertainment, their story views jumped to 25K. While this may not be ideal traffic, what ends up happening is it trickles over into stories 2 and stories 3. At this stage, what ends up happening is people, maybe it's not the whole 25, maybe it goes down to half, but 15,000 people see story 1 and story 2 that are interested in what you're selling and what you're doing. This is how you play Instagram stories. You need to find the first post or the first story to grab attention, and then you supplement that with all sorts of value, with different different information that obviously solves problems with your audience. I can go more in depth on the exact stories we were using to generate some serious revenue and convert traffic from Instagram over to our school and WAP communities, but that's just a brief overview. The next part is newsletters. So newsletters, again, are super underdeveloped. Many people think, oh, no one reads their emails. And while they may be right, the most important aspect of a newsletter is not to write and send weekly emails. Of course, you can send offers. Of course, you can send discounts, promos, etc. But the number one most important piece and component of a newsletter is your ability to collect data. Think of this as like Tesla. Tesla's not a car company. It is a data company. They're trying to collect as much data as possible. As a founder, this is your number one way to make sure that offers actually resonate with your audience. Onboarding quizzes. Again, I mentioned this earlier. Can you have an onboarding quiz that identifies the problems your audience has? Now, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty basic, but having some sort of way to funnel and ask questions within your newsletter, this is sent weekly. We have, all sorts of surveys embedded in each one of our clients' newsletters to really get that data. It's pretty simple and straightforward to set up as well. You can do this with a Google form. You can do this with Typeform, etc. It's pretty straightforward. Next up is ManyChat. This is pretty basic, but same idea here. Instead of segmenting on the email platform, we are segmenting our audience on Instagram. So as you can see here, we're asking people, hey, where would you like to be in the next 12 months? Based on their response, they are going to reply with a letter. Based on the letter they reply with, we're then sending them down a unique path based on their response. Again, we're now segmented this audience. We've added tags to them so we know exactly where they're at in their entire business journey. And it makes it really, really simple to help people with that, right? With their problems. When we have 10, 20 new leads come in a day, they receive a tag, they go to our CRM, we have setters or the business owner, the founder, following up with them. And of course, speaking with them. Just chatting with them one-on-one. Next up is phase 3. This is the marketing phase. So you need to find winning formats, okay? I highly recommend, if you don't have, or you've never posted content online, to start testing with talking head style videos on Instagram. These are absolutely ripping. What's going to end up happening is you're going to have some of these videos that just don't perform well. They simply don't. But what ends up happening is you're going to find these winners. 18K, 3K, right? 944 views. You're going to slowly start to see these winners, 1,400. It is at that moment that you can really put up the production on these videos because you know that your audience actually wants that. And that's the biggest part about finding a winning format, is just testing shit until something sticks. I cannot stress it enough. You should be posting minimum 3 to 5 posts per day for the next 30 to 60 days. If you are not able to do that, you need to hire talent to do so. I cannot stress that enough. And again, once you have found those winning formats, then you turn into someone like Lee or an actual creator, and you just mass produce at high volume and high quality those winning videos. It's almost like the testing ground for your content. It's a pretty unique way to launch an Instagram page. But again, even having 2 separate pages, one for talking head and then another page for the actual final result, is a great way to start building your personal brand. And again, this is exactly what Lee has done. with over 520,000 followers. It's that simple. Test, test, test. Next up is phase 4. This is the sales phase. This is where you collect the moolah. So a lot of people think that they should be selling automatically with ManyChat. They kind of just assume that they can close sales without being in the DMs. This is very wrong. You need to be getting dirty. You need to be in the DMs manually for the first 10 to 30 closes or sales for your offer. You need to validate the offer, and you need to validate your audience actually wants what you are selling. I am always talking in the DMs. It has a block of 60 minutes in my day, every single day, to do so. It's super important that they are actually connecting with a person and not just some robot. You need to send voice notes as well. Cannot stress this enough. Be sure you are devoting time manually for the first 20 to 30 sales so you can see what objections and what people are actually complaining about. And just as reference, your KPIs should be somewhere around 15%, 10%, and for a booking rate, 1.5%. On the low end, I've seen these as well, depending on your industry, as low as 10%, and then as low as 30%, and same here, 50%. Instagram channel is a bit different. These numbers reflect email, so these are the correct metrics, but same principles apply. You need to be tracking your metrics. You need to have KPIs to be shooting for in your Instagram DMs. Next up is webinars. This is where I've made all of my cash personally. I run weekly webinars via school, and I have people that do know nothing about me and have purchased my program and course from being on live. You don't need to set up a landing page and do a webinar. You can do this on Instagram Live. You can do this on TikTok Live. Being live with people to handle objections is the number one way to sell. I cannot stress it enough. It's so important. Next up is ManyChat. Again, I mentioned this earlier. Having some sort of automation that does go on in the background doesn't hurt. But again, until you've made 30 sales at minimum manually, you should not be using ManyChat in any way, shape, or form to automate sales. It's a very bad idea. YouTube as well. I talk about this a little bit, but it's so important. You are posting on YouTube. Again, 4 of these creators here, and there's one more you're not able to see, were sold and booked and bought my school community directly from my YouTube channel. It is critical that you have and you are posting content on the YouTube platform. And again, this is the cash collecting machine. Instagram stories. Be sure you are posting 3 to 5 Instagram stories every single day. If you are not doing that, you are losing money. Instagram is like running your own another business. That's how important it is, but it is very lucrative if it's played right. So be sure your minimum 3 to 5 stories per day. And lastly is newsletters. This is a very undervalued platform, but if you have a newsletter, you can charge crazy absurd rates depending on your niche and industry. I'm talking anywhere between $7,000 to $25,000 with a 40% open rate, with a 2% click-through rate, and you do not need 120,000 subscribers. You can have way, way, way less than this and still monetize your weekly newsletter. So those are a couple of ways that you can absolutely cash collect. And again, it's super important. You at least make 30 sales manually before you think to automate or do any of this stuff here. You have to validate that your offer is what the market actually wants. And with that said, if you are looking to optimize your funnel, I would recommend booking a call. You can check the description, and you can check out my website as well for a little bit more information. But with that said, we manage your ManyChat automations, your entire top of funnel, your marketing, your email automation, webinars, YouTube channels, Instagram stories. We take care of your Instagram channels and anything that makes you revenue with it. The whole goal with my service is create revenue generating content and back-end systems. So if that is something of interest, go click the first link in the description, and I'll talk soon. Bye.